In this video, I am going to share a step-by-step process for how to plan your semester effectively so that you keep up with all of your assignments, you excel in your courses, you maintain your underlying priorities, and you keep your sanity in the process. As a college professor, I have not only spent years in school myself, but I have 15 years of teaching experience helping hundreds of students learn to get organized and really plan out their semesters in this very simple way that gets them set up for success from the beginning. It takes just a little bit of time right at the start, and then you will be reaping the rewards the whole rest of the way through. So whether you are a university student, a high school student, a grad student, or just a parent of a student, the tips and strategies in this video all apply. I hope you'll stay tuned to the very end because I have some very important bonus tips that you don't want to miss, and I would highly encourage you to take notes throughout this video, or at least to pause the video to walk through the exercises at the same time yourself. If you're excited, give this video a thumbs up. Let's dive straight in. Step number one is to get a paper planner. Now, I know there are so many digital options out there, and it's really tempting to want to rely on technology so that you don't have to carry something physically around. But the reality is that paper planners are best for so many reasons. First and foremost, it really helps to be able to see the visual layout in front of you. Secondly, it gives you that big picture perspective where you can see a larger amount of time at once. Third, science repeatedly shows that our brains commit things to memory much better when we physically write them out. And then my personal favorite thing about using a paper planner is that it gives you the actual satisfaction of crossing something off once you have completed that task. Now, I've put links to some of my favorite planners in the description, but to keep it really simple, in this video, I'm just gonna use this academic planner that I actually got for just $1 at Dollar Tree. So I wanna just emphasize that you don't need expensive planners or fancy tools to do this method. Really, any planner will do. It's really just about having something reliable, ideally with a weekly format. So grab your favorite paper planner. I also recommend that you build in some sort of color coding system. So you'll see that I have a variety of colored pens. You don't have to do this step, but it really does help that much more. The second step is to then firstly write in any existing big events that you have going on in your personal life, whether these are birthdays, anniversaries, appointments, holidays and celebrations, right? Get all of those out first so that you have a general sense of what is going on for you throughout the semester. Now, you will see that I love to use the color red for big important things, but again, choose the color coding scheme of your choice. Step number 3 is to grab your school or university's general academic calendar. This is what has all of the big important dates and deadlines for things like registration, payment, drop or add, things that you need to know, definitely important breaks or school holidays, right? And so you want to plan those things into your planner. I recommend also putting these in red as well so that they stand out and you have that general sense of what days you are versus are not going to be at school. All right, step 4 is where it starts to get really fun, in my very nerdy opinion. You want to grab your course schedule or syllabus for every different class and ideally pick a different color pen to go with each one. I highly recommend that you also create some sort of key or legend page at the beginning of your planner where you just identify the color that is associated with each course, as well as write out important information like the class location, the instructor's contact information, when office hours are, sort of a general reference section so that you can refer back to it anytime throughout the semester. Now we're going to go through one by one and walk through this process of adding specific things in. Step 5 is to first write in any big test or assessment due dates that are going on for each course. And I really recommend that you write these not only in the course's specific color that you've designated, but also put them in all caps so that they really stand out in your planner as important things that you need to know ahead of time. I would recommend following that up by then putting an additional reminder into your phone or your email or something that is going to pop up maybe a week in advance or a couple days in advance, and then again right before the assignment is due to make sure that you don't miss it or forget. Step 6 is to then go back and actually write in when you are physically going to be in school or in class for each course. You want to make special note of any days where class might be canceled or there might be a different format for the day. But this way you have a general sense of when you are going to be at school versus the times that you do have available for studying outside of class or for having fun. The next step is to then write in the various assignments or readings that are due each specific day. Now, most of the classes will list the assignment that is due for the day class is being held. So you then have a couple of different options. Option 1, and the one that I personally find works best, is to go ahead and write that assignment on the day that it is due. But then you need to sort of look ahead throughout the semester and make sure that you are completing these assignments ahead of time so that you've done them by the time you get to class. Option 2 would be to backwards induce when you actually need to work on something in order to have it due for the actual due date. And then you would write it into your planner on the day that you intend to do the task as opposed to the day it's due. Again, either system works great. It's really just a matter of preference and whichever way is going to be most clear in your mind. After you have repeated these steps for all of your different courses, step 8 is to step back and really flip through your planner to get a sense of the big picture. You should now have that full visual of what general times of the semester are going to be really stressful and jam-packed with tests or assignments, and what other times might be relatively open, right? Or just quote-unquote normal weeks. If you don't know ahead of time when to anticipate the stress, then those big, heavy weeks can creep up on you and it becomes that much harder to keep up with the work because you're sort of taken by surprise. So again, really look back and from the very beginning, just have this reference point in your mind of what weeks are going to be more intense than others and when you could take a little bit of a breather. This is also really helpful for giving you a better sense of when you can plan in other things outside of school. Step 9 is to then highlight every specific task as you complete it. Again, really give yourself that satisfaction of crossing things off as you do them. Really try and, keep up with this plan as best you can, knowing that sometimes things come up, right? There are always unexpected events, but the more that you can look to your planner every day, look ahead at what's coming up that week, the more set up for success you will be. Now, I have a whole bunch of other tips to help set yourself up for success that would probably honestly be a whole other video all on their own, but I want to just throw them in here too because I know that they will really provide so much value for you as your semester embarks. The first thing I would recommend is to really plan self-care in first. While you're planning out your semester, make sure and physically make appointments with yourself for things like when you're going to work out, when you are going to have family time or friend time, or just, kind of take that mental health day you might need from time to time. It's really easy to put these things off when we get busy with other kinds of things. But if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not prioritizing rest and giving yourself that downtime, then you're ultimately just going to burn out and then you're no good to anybody, right? And you're certainly not going to be successful in your classes. So really do schedule these things in from the very beginning. It makes a huge, huge difference when you prioritize your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Ain't nobody got time to be sick, am I right? The next tip is something I so wish I could go back and tell my former self. But as a student, I cannot recommend highly enough that you treat school as your job. Especially when you're in college, it's really easy to get excited by how little time you actually have to be in class. But it's then all too easy to forget how much work goes into being successful apart from that class time. So if you instead set up specific hours where you plan to study on a regular basis, you will be so much better primed to build the routines and habits that feed that positive reinforcement mechanism, teaching your brain and your body to do certain tasks, this important schoolwork at certain times, and then you'll get your work done and be more able to enjoy yourself and have that downtime that you crave. Setting up these boundaries is so important so that you know when you're working or doing schoolwork and when you're not, right? Now, I am always surprised at how few of my students really know this next tip, but that is that you should plan to go and get help early and often throughout the semester. There are so many people and resources that are there to help you, whether it's your professor or teacher's office hours, whether it's a career center or an academic success center, a peer study group, finding a tutor. Like, again, the resources are endless, but there is no shame whatsoever in asking for help. And having that clear line of communication is so key. Even if you don't have a question, even if you don't need help, just showing up and really building more of a rapport with your professor or instructor face to face is so important for both of you. Similarly, I highly recommend that you connect with people outside of class. So at the beginning of the semester, try and find a few other students who can be your, what I like to call, study buddies. Exchange contact information, plan to maybe divide up some of the work and the readings over the semester, make plans to study together before big tests. But at a minimum, you at least then have the names and numbers of some trusted sources you can turn to get notes and materials for days that you might miss class. This is so helpful. Then one of the best things you can do to set your semester up for success is going to sound a little crazy, but I promise it makes the biggest difference. That is to really try and anticipate all the things that could go wrong throughout the semester. Take a few minutes and think about the unexpected situations that could arise or past circumstances that might have interfered with your ability to get your classwork done. The more that you can at least think through how you would handle those things if and when they arise, the less taken aback you will be should they happen, and then the more you can stay on course and push through to ultimately be successful all the way to the finish line. Whew. All right, those are my many tips for how to set your semester up for success, specifically through planning and really getting organized so that you have this amazing system in your planner showing you what work needs to be done for which courses and when. You're keeping up with deadlines, you are anticipating all of the things that could be really stressful or the times where you're going to be more busy, and it's just going to make a world of difference all around. I can't wait for you to give this method a try. Definitely let me know if you have any other suggestions or tips for planning or being successful in school. If you have other ideas of things that you would like to see from me, let me know those as well. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone else that would benefit, subscribe if you are new to this channel, and I'll see you back soon with another weekly video. Have a great day.